Hey, I'm Steven from Rugged Rocks, and today we're going to talk about Atlas transfer case adapters. So this is a project that started actually back with corporate Nissan in probably 2006 or 2007. They worked with Advanced Adapters. Advanced Adapters is a company that builds the Atlas transfer cases. If you're not familiar with what an Atlas transfer case is, feel free to message me and I will explain more of it to you. I'm also going to probably do more videos on Atlas transfer cases and deep crawl ratios and all that sort of fun stuff at a later time. But for the intents purpose of this video, the guys over at Nissan had worked with Advanced Adapters to come up with a way to put an Atlas transfer case in a second gen Xterra. Now that went into a truck that was, or not a truck, but an Xterra SUV called Project X, and it was kind of like a black project, like behind the scenes, nobody really knew it. I'm not really sure what the scoop was on it, but it was a pre-production Xterra, and they had to crush it. So they did source all the aftermarket stuff back off of it, and then they crushed Project X, and now it's gone. But not only did it have an Atlas in it, it actually had a Titan. That was done between Nissan and Advanced Adapters. Now, later on, I ran into Mike, who was the owner of Advanced Adapters, at an expo, an off-road expo, and I told him, hey, I'm Steven from Rugged Rocks, I do Nissan stuff, I want an Atlas in my truck, and if we get it dialed in for my truck, I want to sell these things and make them available for other people as well. And that's exactly what we did. Shortly after the expo, my same bolt pattern on the transfer cases, which is awesome. So we took the second gen adapter plate, stuck it onto my Pathfinder, and then started taking measurements and figuring out what else we needed to do from there. Now, instead of making a custom input like they did for the second gen for Project X, which allowed the transfer case to mate directly to this plate, that we couldn't really do that on the older trucks, because had we done that, the front output for the front drive shaft would have been pushed forward relative to the stock transfer case, and that would have even made our drive shaft shorter, and it got even worse drive shaft angles for solid axle swap applications. So what we ended up doing was putting an extension housing on here, and then putting a spud shaft, just like this one, in that extension housing. So this allowed us to space the transfer case back, regaining lost length in our front drive shaft, and allowed us to use an off-the-shelf front input on the Atlas. That way, this shaft would just slide onto the transfer case output, and then this would be in an extension housing, which I'll post a picture of after this video, and then the Atlas bolts on after that. And that worked out really well. However, it did take some doing and a lot of taking apart and reassembling things multiple times over. How it would have been a lot easier had I had another vehicle at the time. And granted, please remember, this was a long time ago when the company was first starting out, and the Pathfinder was my daily driver. That was my only vehicle. So on the weekends, I'd pull that thing into the garage, I'd tear it apart, I'd test fit what I needed to test fit for that moment, take it all back apart, put my stock transfer case back in, have it running again by Sunday night, and then I took my truck apart a lot during the development of, I say development, but I guess developing the expanded version of the Atlas transfer case adapter. So that's how it all started. Eventually we got it all done up. I've had my Atlas in my Pathfinder now since 2009, and it's been absolutely fantastic, no problems whatsoever, and now we just want to bring them back into production. So if you've heard rumors that the Atlas adapter was discontinued or is coming back, both are true. I have the ability through Rugged Rocks, I have exclusive rights to these adapters now through Advanced Adapters, and I'm bringing them back. So this is one of the plates that was recently cut, and instead of doing the custom inputs, which would allow the Atlas to mate directly to this plate for the second gens, we're going to adopt the approach that we did for the older trucks and do a spud shaft like this. That way we don't have to do custom inputs, because those are a lot harder to make, a lot more expensive. So in the interest of trying to keep things more simple and using more parts that, it's all stuff we've already done. It's literally at this point making more spud shafts. We'll bring these things back into production. They have been gone out of production for quite some time now, but we do have a good group of people. I've got contact list going of people that are interested, seriously interested, and ready to basically pull the trigger on getting some of this stuff in their hands right now if I had it. So if that's you and I don't have you on the list, please contact me and we'll get it going. We're looking at hopefully having the rest of the parts made to wrap up these adapters within the next 4 to 5 months-ish, potentially sooner. So just feel free to reach out for me to build this adapter with the extension housing and everything for the Pathfinders, hard bodies, and first gens. Took that thing apart I don't know how many times. But stay tuned for more stories, and I'll fill you guys in on how other stuff came to be. I've got a couple more of these, and then we'll really get into some other videos more in depth on advantages to Atlas transfer cases and some other cool stuff. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned. We'll catch you on the next one.